All right, all right, all right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? How you doing? This are the enemy of the people. I believe police officers are the enemy of the people, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you throughout this live stream. Now, if someone doesn't agree with that, I totally get it, but I would ask that you express your disagreement in a respectful way, and I will respond to you in a respectful way. I have not mentioned anything about skin color, so if you mention it, I'm going to assume you're racist. Now, my arguments against police officers will not start with anything to do with race or gender. It's going to be simply deal with numbers. Now, when it comes to police officers in particular, they tell you that they serve and protect. The first problem with that is that they are not required to constitutionally protect you, or they are not required by the Constitution to even protect you whatsoever. There's been several legal precedents that have already been set over that. Some of them are more colorful than others, I will say. But when you look at the overall facts when it comes to case law and police officers, they are not required to protect you, and that has been the case for quite some time. There's one particular case I can cite off the top of my head. That is Town of Castle Rock v. Gonzalez. Woman with the last name of Gonzalez, her daughters were picked up by her estranged ex-husband, and she had an order of protection against that ex-husband, and the ex-husband took the lives of both those little girls, and so the mother took the town of Castle Rock and the police department to court, and the courts were ruling in their favor. So she took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that under the U.S. Constitution, police officers have no duty to protect you. So the whole serve and protect thing hasn't been a thing for quite some time. But what makes it worse is that police officers are still going under the moniker of serve and protect, even though that hasn't been true since forever. So with that being said, the first problem with police officers is that they don't serve and protect people because they haven't been required to for quite some time. Now, if anyone disagrees with that, then I'm going to have to ask you to present your evidence as to the reasons why you think that I'm wrong. Because I just cited clear case law and even the story behind it. And yet I guarantee you, right? I guarantee you there's going to be people out there who support Blue Lives Matter, who support police officers just blindly, that's going to argue against that, even though they know the facts. Just gave you the facts. The other thing that makes it very, very concerning when it comes to police officers and how they enforce laws is that usually most of the laws that they enforce have no victim. Therefore, there is no crime. And when you have victimless crimes and people enforcing it, well, that creates a problem all by itself. You know, that creates the problem of you creating a victimized class versus a class of people that you're supposed to be protecting. Now, you may say that some of these laws that you agree with, like, for example, with certain laws dealing with substances when it comes to things that are green. But the thing about it is that when you support police officers, there is almost an inherent mask of supporting the oppression of your fellow citizen. Now, what do I mean by that? You remember when certain green substances, certain green plants wasn't so legal in this country? Remember that? I remember that, and I remember when people were being arrested for it, for simple possession. You had people saying, "Well, that's just a law, just a law." And could you imagine anyone saying that now? No. And all the people who said that then, they don't have to apologize to the American people for saying such bootlicking stuff. They never have to apologize for saying that stuff, for encouraging the drug war, right? But I have to apologize whenever I generalize police officers. Don't generalize police officers, man. You know what's strange about generalizing police officers? They have no problems generalizing you. What do you think you fit the description means? What do you think criminal psychology is. It's an assumption, right? What do you think the term, the saying, well, in my experience, what do you think that is? It's an assumption. And now you can say, well, it's an assumption based on their professional experience. Well, someone could say the exact same thing about police officers. Right? So Yukar Sudidi says, if you had to pick one crime that you could freely commit, which would it be and why? I don't want to get into that. That's a conversation that should be had off app. No, because that would involve police officers and retribution. I don't want to discuss that publicly. I think you understand why. But my thing is that people always want to subject a citizen to what they don't ever want the police officer to be subjected to. Jordy George says that's an incriminating question. Yes, it is. William Robiller. I'm sorry. It's an ant in the jar. Your hate is misdirected. That is such a cop out, man. Come on, stop. Make an actual counter argument, bro. Golly. What does the flag mean? More? It's more of a acknowledgement of my background, of my lineage. I'm acknowledging my foundational Black American lineage. That's what I am. You know, I love my people. You know, I love everybody, but I love my foundational Black American family, especially. D. Clarks, 69. How you doing? What's your lineage? Foundational Black American, FBA. That is a person who is a Black descendant of a slave here in America. I believe that our people are owed a great debt, and I want that debt paid in cash. That's what I believe. I believe that foundational Black Americans, we were promised 40 acres and a mule. And because much of your land has been polluted and much of your land has been, destroyed, I don't want your mule and I don't want your freaking land. I will take cash and I will take gold and I will take diamonds. Absolutely. Black Flag is nonsense. Start digging up some dead bodies and we personally haven't done nothing. Ancestors. Nah, it's not even that. How about civil rights era? Now, if you respond to that with anything belligerent, you know what I'm going to do. So if you're going to respond to that intelligently. Actually make an actual argument. And yes, I'm going to demand that because it's my flag. This is my strength. If you live in Evanston, they're going to pay reparations. Yeah, absolutely. But I want it for the whole country, not just for a few people. Absolutely. But George Marshall, I absolutely agree with that. That's awesome. Respond to what? I'm not going to repeat myself. No. I'm a foundational Black American. I'm not that. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I believe in foundational Black Americans. They were descendants of African Muslims that came here back in the early 1500s, early 1400s, and they were here for a long time before any white person even landed on these shores. And so pretty much they came, and the way that we know that is because when Christopher Columbus came to this continent, he encountered Native Americans. Native Americans actually gave Columbus these spearheads, and these spearheads, they when they were taken to a metallurgist, and the compounds were actually analyzed, they were found that the actual compounds, you only really find that in Africa. That particular combination. And on top of that, the Native Americans who gave the spear to Columbus said that it came from dark-skinned travelers from the South, in the Southeast. Also, on top of that, we found fossils, and we also found military muster rolls. So the military muster rolls, those are old Army, I would say old Army rosters, right? And so, and on those rosters, you had Muslim sounding names. One in particular that I can call off the top of my head was Joseph bin Haley. We know him as Joseph as Joseph bin Haley, but his real name was Joseph bin Salam. So you had several Muslim sounding names on those military muster rolls, and that's actually in like museums now. And so that was discovered. Actually, a lot of this stuff has actually only been exposed for the past decade or so. And so I read about a lot of it from the Smithsonian, and I actually went to actually go see some of the sites. That's that's actually one of the reasons why I want to go and travel the whole freaking country, because I was very interested in doing that, because I wanted to go see my history, And one of the other things that I found that was interesting was how pivotal those people, the African Muslims who were the Moors, how pivotal they were to early America being even established, from fighting the British to, mapping out, actual colonial properties. So that was pretty interesting. Brett Mullen who says, "Are you in DC?" No. I'm in Washington State, actually. But basically what you found is that African Muslims were already in this country before any particular white person. And the fact that you had white people come over here and then throw those same African Muslims into slavery, even after they fought in the Revolutionary War, and also the Smithsonian even gives them credit. Without them, you would have lost the freaking war, because they were some of the most hellacious fighters that were on the actual battlefield. And the one thing that I do take pride in is my study of military history and tactics. I'm a combat veteran rated at 100%. So I've taken a strong look into military history, especially involving Black folks. It's a kind of a source of pride for me. I look at the Tuskegee, freaking airmen. I look at a lot of the Black warriors, and I draw strength from that. So I mean, of course, I would take interest in this kind of story. And it was kind of fascinating to learn about the Moors and their culture, and there's a very, very interesting YouTube series you should check out. All you gotta do is just look up Muslims in early America, and you're gonna get this crazy. And trust me, it's the only playlist that's even like it. So you're gonna get a crazy playlist from like 8 years ago. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I wish I could quote off the top of my head. Probably could just go over to my desktop real quick and just show you, but it's a long playlist, and it discusses a lot of what happened in early America with African Muslims, and some of them even interacting with Native Americans. And one thing you should also know, that the early Native Americans, the early Hispanics, were actually very, very dark skinned. If you saw those people on this very, very day, you would mistake them for Black people. It is only a recent thing that you started seeing Native Americans be the complexion that you see them now. In early America, they were very dark skinned, mainly because it wasn't as many Europeans here, and so you didn't have any of the natives and Europeans, doing anything. And one of the other things that you're gonna notice about early America is that when Europeans showed up, they always stood out. Like usually in these days, right? In these days, Black people stand out in many of the continents, but back in the old days, it would actually be white people that would stand out, because many people had a much darker complexion, even in Asia. But Locky Locke says racists talk about race like they are smart, but they are racist. That's the what? AC Dude 65 says cops are your enemy if you're a criminal. Did you even? I'm not going to ask if you thought about the statement. You didn't. You didn't, did you? It's okay. Stick around. You could learn a few things. Okay. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm saying that in the early America, what you notice is that you had this this influx of white refugees from Britain. That's exactly what they were, white refugees from Britain, and they settled in colonial America, and you had black people that were already here, and so you had natives that were already here. And so, what do you think happened when they showed up? Hmm? Think it was a peaceful interaction? Think it was nice? No, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. But it is what it is. It is what it is in terms of that regard. So I went through that whole spiel to say no, reparations are deserved. And if anyone that makes a counter argument, I'm gonna need for you to rebut what I just said, because that doesn't involve slavery. So this is why people don't like to have these conversations with me, because, and this is why you see this sloganeering and this personal attacks. You never really hear any serious counter arguments ever. It never works because the counter arguments sound silly. That's why I can never take them seriously. You know, but it is what it is there. It is what it is there. But otherwise from that, let's get back to police. So the police, let me tell you. Okay, Empathic Animalia says, people say it was so long ago, forget. Native Americans received reparations generations later. How is this different? It's simple. It's not different. But people want to make it different. Back to police, though. The role that the police played in the generational oppression of my people and various others, that's another reason why we deserve reparations, and I can demonstrate that. Lou says, if it weren't for our fellow African brothers, there wouldn't be any fun at all. All love, absolutely all love. But let's get into police and how they have contributed to the subjugation of my people and the oppression of my people. So the police, they carry out the nation's bigotry. Now, I know that could be a very complicated concept, and I know it may sound like a simple concept, but you got to really, really think about what I'm implying there, right? And by the way, welfare is not reparations. The welfare capital of the world is actually a white state, and the majority of welfare recipients is actually white people, and the majority of recipients of affirmative action is white people. So, divination, if you don't respond with anything that counters what I'm saying with some actual facts, don't do it. Don't do it. Back to what I was saying, though. Police officers, they carry out the bigotry of the country. So let's say the country doesn't like certain people who belong to certain communities. Well, those people who belong to those communities are going to face bigotry from the citizens who don't like those people from those communities. So with that being said, the police by default are forced to carry out the bigotry of the country. And by default, when you're forced to carry out the bigotry of the country, you yourself over time become the bigot. So do you understand how that works? Say that you're in 50s, 60s, 70s America, right? And you have whole communities, right? Whole communities that didn't like black folks. You had states like Oregon that banned black people from coming there. Okay. So with that being said, what kind of police do you think that state was producing, or those communities was producing? Producing police who are probably going to be more hostile to black folks just by virtue of the job. Now, with that being said, those police train the next generation of those police, and then those police train the next generation of those police, and then rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Do you want to know how you know that happens? Because how would a cat know how to do some of the behaviors that they do? Why does a dog automatically know to raise their tail and lower their tails? It comes from evolution. It comes from the most successful thing in terms of what you hope to accomplishing a thing, and then that being selected out, and then that being selected out And then that particular gene, that particular behavior, that particular survival strategy holding up. Be it good, be it bad, doesn't matter. What will carry on is what is being geared towards fixing what you want to be fixed. So the same process of evolution demonstrates the reason why police are still racist to this very day. Because police started off being slave catchers. Police started off being in freaking police gangs. They started off being Klan members. They started off like that. So if they start off like that, then the most brutal police officers who were the most brutal to black people, their traits are going to be singled out and selected out and then added to the overall makeup of what makes a police officer. And then over time, those traits are going to be not actually removed. They're going to be desired even more because it started off with those traits being what made a good police officer. So I'm doing a comparative analysis. And once again, if all you're going to do is spread insults, and you got to go. You got to go. So you got to go. So actually make an argument. So let's see. Tolbert Report says, so what would you say about those cops who have never had a reported race incident? They know cops who do. That's what I would say. Marshall, whatever your name is, evolution has nothing to do with what you want. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. When you select out for traits. See, so what happens if we get rid of police? We all in Chicago. That's not okay. That's one begging the question. Okay. Two, that's not even a question. You're making a statement. You're not making a question. Okay. Three, bringing up Chicago doesn't really. You're going to answer my questions or you're going to keep asking questions? Because Washington now has the no pursue law. A man got shot in Pulaski. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. You brought up Washington State. So before you say another thing in the chat, right? Don't say another thing until you respond to this. Andrea Cherner was a 39-year-old mother who was shot by a police officer in Redmond, Washington State. And that officer, coming to find out, when you actually went through his actual personnel files, he should not have even passed the academy. What's your response to that? And I better hear a good one. 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 All the people who disagree with me that I'm seeing right now, I better see you respond to that, or you're all gone. I better hear a good response, and don't ask me to repeat myself because you all heard me. No, you better respond to that. Like I said, Wendy, you can go. I don't want to hear an excuse for that. I told you to respond to it. Don't make an excuse. I told you to respond to it. I made that request, and you decided to not adhere to that request. So, once again, I'm going to tell you, I made a scenario. Respond to the freaking scenario. Period. Okay. Johnny D, you can go. Goodbye, sir. I told you to respond to. You see what I mean? When I actually bring up an actual case from Washington State, there's no response. No response. You know why I use Andrea Cherner 39-year-old white mother. 39-year-old white mother. See, they have no response for that. Notice how there's no direct response to it. I want you all to notice that. I want you all to note that real quick. Take it in. Because see, they came to the wrong channel. They came to someone who covers these bad cop stories all the time. See, when you bring up stuff, you can get yeeted too, sir. I told you to directly respond to that. You heard the scenario. Directly respond to it. Tom 46 says that I responded. Not really. I need you to do a detailed response. The same way that you first came in, sir. I gave you the response. Oh, you shouldn't have passed the academy. A 39-year-old mother is dead. Respond to that, sir. I said in its entirety. Next time you don't follow instructions, you got to go. What is my solution? I've already gave my solution. You don't push the conversation where it actually goes. I choose that. Now, if you respond with that in any kind of belligerent way, then you can go. But it's my stream. I run this. We go at my pace. Outlaw. Deal with it. If you don't know the details, I can't. I gave you details. One last time. Directly respond to it. I gave you her name. Look it up. Don't respond without looking it up again. I'm just tuning in. What is your solution? We're not getting to that yet. We'll get there when I choose to. I understand that you may think that slavery is still here. But when you come to my channel, we go at my pace. All right, Tom. Goodbye to you too. See, they can't deal with the fact that when I set rules and regulations on my channel, when I actually set expectations. See, I answered a simple question. I asked a simple question. I gave them the whole scenario. I even gave the name. I even gave the city in the state. And they couldn't respond. Wow. It's a white woman who was shot down. Do you not care about white people? Because I covered the story. Do you not care? No? Outlaw? No, outlaw? Okay, well, that's on you, buddy. But I cared about that white mother. I cared about him. Don't worry. You can sit tight and not care about white mothers. I will. Okay? I will. I'll do that for you. You can sit there and worry about whatever you worry about. I'll care about the white victims. Because those are the kind of stories that I usually cover. You know. I looked on your channel and you don't. So, I'm just throwing it out there. I care about all lives, no color involved. Yeah. I care about all lives, but that's not how most people think. Let's be honest. That's something that is relatively unique to the black community. Let's be honest. Notice how when you say white mother, none say all mothers. Yeah, that's very interesting. Notice how I said white mothers, no one says all mothers, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. Did you all catch that? Did you all catch that? I see character, not color. We all bleed red. Yeah, we all bleed red, sure. But before that happens, you got to bleed first. And before that happens, you got skin color. I don't care how somebody tries to, slice it or dice it. This country sees you in skin color. They do. Anyone says otherwise is full of it. Or they just lying to themselves. You got to pick one. Typical victim mentality. Okay. Love your content and what you're doing. Thank you very much. It was verse in my head. Your sentence could read that way. Sorry, I was confused. Let's see. Why do you think I have a typical victim mentality, Dustin? You're a Texas boy, so you know. I don't. I care about everyone. I don't care what race you are. That's fine. That I'm gonna explain something very slow to you, Outlaw, and I want you to not say another thing until you respond to this directly. It does not matter if you feel that way. There are other people who don't feel that way, and those people outnumber one of you. Do you get that? The. So don't respond to that as if you are an individual because you don't live in an individual country.
Can I make a contribution real quick? I won't cuss.
First off, nah, child. Okay. Outlaw, goodbye.
Wait, I was going to respond to him.
No. Outlaw, goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye. Yeah. Right. Goodbye.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Can I say something real quick?
First off, nah, child. It's my stream.
Can I?
Yeah, they gaslight. I know. Oh, no, I know. Oh, well, you can't say nothing mean.
I won't.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can I get on camera real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I had a really good friend who was a coworker when we were both working at Olive Garden. And one day he told me that, and he's a black man, he told me that he goes out of his way when he has black customers come in to give them the royal treatment, red carpet, everything, because of how they've been treated by other people and by other establishments in the past. And that really sat with me because I, like many other white people, have been like, oh, I don't discriminate, I don't see color and blah, blah, blah. But that's not good enough. Not seeing color and all that stuff, that's not good enough, because if you're not going out of your way to be kind to people of color and to treat them slightly better than you treat white people, then you're not doing enough. Because let's be honest, white people have always been treated better. And so we gotta go a little above and beyond, to even out the, just to break even. Just to break even. And honestly, I personally don't want to break even. I want people of color to be treated like absolute royalty because of everything they've been through. And the generational trauma, the things their parents have been through, the things their grandparents have been through, great-grandparents. We got people alive right now. Right now in 2022, we have people alive who have lived through Jim Crow crap. Yeah. And unbelievable. And I'm from California. He's from South Carolina. We grew up in different countries, okay? Yeah. We lived and were raised in different countries because California and South Carolina do not belong to the same country. It is basically a third world country down there. It is not the same. And people of color growing up in California do not have the same experiences as people of color in South Carolina. It's just a fact. And, we're a little privileged in California, everyone, but especially the non-people of color, we have no idea because we don't see the kind of stuff that goes on a regular basis like it does in the South. And it's shocking. It's appalling. It's disgusting. I'm mad that I didn't know about this. But going back to, what my friend said, working at an Olive Garden, after he said that, I had a come to Jesus moment with myself. And after that, I went out of my way. I bent over backwards to give above 100% amazing experience to all of my customers who were people of color. Even if I didn't know, even if I wasn't sure, okay, they get and that doesn't mean that the white folks got subpar service. I was a really good server anyways, but it was no skin off my back to just be a little kinder, to just be a little more attentive, to make up for the deficiencies in how other people have treated them. It's no skin off my back. And unless every white person is doing that, you're not doing enough. It's not good enough. Sorry. But I can say that because I am white. It's not good enough. You're not doing enough. So just not caring about color and not discriminating and yada yada, not good enough. You're not even scratching the surface. You're not even in the game. Okay? You got to show up. You got to do more. You got to be better.
So Tonya Dorsey says, most racism that I experienced in my life was in California, but y'all can stay on that South stuff. Yes, because in California, back in 2011, there wasn't a man held as a freaking slave. There's a black slave in South Carolina, and that white man was only given 10 years in federal prison. I actually worked for the South Carolina Department of Corrections, and I can tell you for a fact there's been people that have got more than 10 years for selling a freaking plant. Mm-hmm. So yes,
if I can address Tonya, I saw plenty of racism. I never perpetuated it myself, but I saw plenty of it. I grew up in Richmond in the East Bay. I went to high school in Oakland. Okay. I saw all of it. I hated it. But still, if we have to compare, if somebody has to win the title between California and South Carolina, that wasn't my point. But if somebody has to win the title, yeah, South Carolina's going to win because it's wild.
Darla Thompson, because that's my choice. Don't ever ask me that question again. Thank you.
Why do you have this white girlfriend? First of all, I'm Mexican, so I'm Mexican and white. Not that matters, but I'm not an asshole. I treat him well. He treats me well. We love each other.
I
can cook, but he's actually the cook.
I'm actually the cook. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to tell you, like South Carolina, we from that state, man. We all know how to cook. We all know how to cook, man. We always do it. We always do it, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think society as a whole lacks empathy. And I think people who, can't conceive of the notion that something may be true for somebody else, even when it's not true for themselves. That's a problem.
So, Ambition LX says, not all cops are bad. There's a few bad apples in every occupation. Yeah, but not every occupation has access to,
weaponry. Weaponry.
So respond to that directly, please. Respond to that directly, right?
Qualified immunity.
Right. Respond to that directly. Don't respond to anything else. Don't say anything else, but respond to that directly. Please. Thank you. Your view doesn't matter. Well, then.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know who. Hopefully it's not us, man. I mean, South Stream. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, So how do we fix it?
Right. Not all occupations has qualified immunity.
Exactly. Not all occupations have qualified immunity. So how do we fix it? We can get into that. We'll get into that as we get along in the stream. But I want everybody to get all the mad screeching out first. All the angry screeching out. Oh, cops are great. Man, why do you hate cops? Are you a criminal, man? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Don't you just love cops? Man, listen, just obey the law, bro. Come on.
He's been saying for months, if not years, that it's not the individual cops he hates, it's the system. And so do I. I hate the system too. Why? Why does somebody who is, outfitted like some combat soldier, okay, why do they get to just kill me and not face consequences just because they were on the clock? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, doctors don't get to off their patients and not face consequences. And good cops don't last long. That's the problem. Any whistleblower cop who tries to come forward and shed light on the situation. They get harassed, bullied, stalked, threatened, assault and battery. Exactly. Those good cops get fired. Yes, they do. But more than that, I was working for a court reporter proofreading transcripts when I was in court reporting school. There was
Hold on, wait. Let me respond to something real quick. So it says that was wild. I saw something funny. Let me go ahead and tell you something right now.
Yeah, fired or threatened.
Beyond
that, there was a cop in Oakland who...
Let me go ahead and tell you something right now. To all the people ask me, why do you have a white girlfriend? First of all, I got a black son, first of all. Second, when Colin Kaepernick was taking a goddamn knee, you wouldn't talk about him being damn light-skinned then. And when Barack Obama was running for president, I guarantee you, a lot of people would say, oh, why you got a white girlfriend? Especially the black women. You were voting for him. So you can drink a tall glass of Shut D and die you fuck up. Okay? Thank you. Because if we have a son together, the police won't treat him any freaking better because he's freaking light-skinned.
Nope.
And mind you, Malcolm X, he wasn't my complexion. Mm-hmm. I'd like to also remind you that several of our black leaders were not my complexion.
Thank you.
So when I'm this dark, I can choose who I be with. You don't get to dictate to me who I be with, who I don't be with. And the one thing is, you know what I find interesting? They say stuff to black men that you can't say to the LGBT.
Right.
You can't go tell an LGBT man not to be with somebody, right? Can't do that because you will lose your job quickly.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it's okay for that same black woman to come to me and say, "Why are you with this white woman?"
Right, as if your community property or something.
Ain't that
as
something?
If you belong to the collective and they have some sort of say.
And it's only with black men.
Sort of say.
It's only with black men. You don't ever see. Respect? You don't ever see black women getting this kind of hate for being with freaking white men. You never really see this. All right. Now, are there black men who get upset? Yeah, sure. But black men more times than freaking not don't give a fuck. We don't care. We don't care.
Punch Drunk made a good point. Said people who wonder why you have a white girlfriend are just as racist as the ones who wonder why she has a black boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's true.
A strange part is, right, America keeps trying to tell me we don't see color. And yet the first thing that people point out.
Thank you, Bobo Crusher. Thank you. I look super white, but I assure you I am part Mexican from my grandmother, my mother's mother, and I get my identity from her, so I'm bicultural. I'm actually more than bilingual. I speak 4 languages, but
she's quadlingual. Actually, she speaks more language. She speaks more languages than most people in the whole country. I think you speak like 5?
No, 4.5.
4.5.
It's just a gift.
Speak some.
No.
Go ahead. Do it.
It's just a gift. Mi abuela es de México, del Estado Grande, de Chihuahua. Y somos mexicanos de Apache, no de los Aztecas. So,
what'd you say?
I said my grandma is from Chihuahua, the largest state in Mexico, and we are Apache Mexicans, not Aztec Mexicans. My grandma always made it a point to point that out, that we're Apaches, not Aztecs. I think she was just trying to justify her anger issues.
Right.
Her hot-headedness.
You actually speak Moroccan too, right?
I speak Moroccan Arabic, yeah, a little bit. Conversational, enough to get by, enough to BS my way through. Because I lived in Morocco for a year and a half. Amazing experience. Eye-opening. I don't speak a whole bunch. Like, I speak Gullah. But I speak English. I can speak like a panic like sign language. Yeah, the Arabic dialects from all the other countries, they're so different that they might as well just be different languages, especially Moroccan Arabic, which is called Darija. It's so unique, and it's such a strange, bewildering, wonderful mixture of classical Arabic, of Berber from the Shilha people, who are the indigenous peoples of Morocco, like Native Americans here, and they speak Amazigh. And then there's a little bit of French and Spanish mixed into it. So it's like this crazy mixture. And luckily, I already spoke Spanish and French. So the words in Moroccan Arabic that come from Spanish and French, I already had to jump on those. Thank God. So, but I had to, and Darija has no written form. There's no, it's an oral history language only. So I had to write my own notes and, use English phonetics to make, vocabulary lists. And so it was wild. It was wild, and it's so different from the other Arabics that are spoken that people from, Lebanon or Syria or wherever, they really can't understand Moroccan Arabic because it's just so different.
Right.
And so unique. Like the word for spider, I love this, to use this example. The word for spider in Moroccan Arabic is artila. But in classical Arabic, which is the written form and which is what they speak on like for news channels and stuff like that, it's ankabut, which sounds nothing like artila, So it's wild. I just love the differences, and yeah. Oh yeah, Quran Arabic, very different. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I tried to learn the written form of the language, and I just ended up wanting
Can you briefly tell them that a lot of language, like translations, can you actually tell them how incorrect they are, like, most of the time?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, but like, yeah, they are.
Terms like Spanish though, like how incorrect, like, typically are they?
I mean, because you have like regional colloquialisms, just like we do in the United States. And they use, they'll have like slang that they say in Chicago versus Boston versus Georgia versus California. And even in California, you have like Bay Area stuff, and then you have the rest of the state. So, I don't care about that. I've been told my whole life that I'm only white. Yeah, okay. Tell all of my Mexican family that. But
it's interesting. The people who say that, right? They say that, and it's very, very interesting because people only say stuff like that when it doesn't benefit them, right? Like, for example,
when they're threatened, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So people say, well, you're only white. And it's very funny because if I were to bring up reparations, they'd be like, well, there were Irish slaves. Mm-hmm. There were Irish slaves. Yeah. So again, when I bring up something that they don't agree with, that's when they want to separate what kind of white they are. Yeah. But when it comes to you, you're just white, and that's just it. There is no Hispanic or anything else.
Right.
So it's very, very interesting how people are. Boy, it's very fascinating.
Thank God I don't care anymore, because when I was a kid, I cared very much. I wasn't accepted by the, Mexican American girls, so I couldn't hang out with them. And, meanwhile, I'm completely bicultural and, being raised by my grandma half the time, but okay, whatever. And, my mom, who's half and half, she was too Mexican for the white kids and too white for the Mexican girls. So the only people who were her friends were the black kids in Richmond, California. They didn't care what she was. They didn't, they just accepted her, and she was,
and that's how it is speaking black folks, man. Yeah. Like, we are very much accepting.
Same for me too.
Yeah,
growing up.
That's how it tends to go. Like, because we.
So Mexicans are racist? Yeah, a lot of them are. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So, some of the worst racists are Mexicans. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them. Yeah.
Yes. Not all of them.
Not most of them.
Not all of them, because no, you can't generalize with anyone. But yeah. No, she's an Apache refugee. No, we're just not. Mexicans are they're a mixture of Spaniards and the indigenous peoples from Mexico. So, a lot of them are Aztec or Mayan or Apache or Toltec or any of the other indigenous tribes that are from Mexico. So
the other thing I thought was interesting when it came to how people view some like our type of relationship is the question that I want to ask those people is if we have a child together, do you think that child's gonna be treated any freaking better?
Oh no, worse, because they'll be seen as a little black boy or a little black girl. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to Hulk out Mama Bear on it.
Because the last time I checked, Trayvon Martin, he wasn't as dark as me.
No, he wasn't.
And
he was a baby.
And yet,
damn.
And yet,
local cops are just tax collectors. Yes. Thank you, Felipe.
Can't generalize people, which is correct, but cops are all bad, huh?
Okay, go back 10 minutes where I said, it's not all cops, it's the system. The system. I'll say it a fourth time. It's the system. The system, and cops are a part of it. Cops benefit from it. They perpetuate it. They keep it going. Purple orange, that's cool. I don't mind. Like I said a couple minutes ago, I don't care. My family, who still lives in Mexico, considers me Mexican, like practically a citizen. That's neither here nor there. I know what I am. I don't need any haterade thrown at me. So, but if you want to be cool and pull up to the table and get yourself a plate, go ahead and do that, because I'm not a jerk.
That's hilarious.
I'm not,
All right.
I'm trying to get people to have empathy and to just listen to other people and just like start a dialogue. And y'all want to keep trying to separate people and categorize people, and it's like, human beings can't medically and scientifically be classified any lower than Homo sapiens. Come on, people. Race don't exist. It is a social construct. It scientifically does not exist. It doesn't exist. Come on. That's why we can procreate together. And that's why the children of people from different parts of the earth are not sterile. When you get two animals who mate together, like a liger, right? A lion and a tiger.
Right.
When a liger is born, a liger is sterile, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure I wasn't saying something incorrect. Ligers are sterile. A mixed race child is not sterile because they're still human being. He's a human being. I'm a human being. And any offspring we would have are human beings.
Right.
Just the same as we are. But
the question becomes is, what would you say to Malcolm X? He was light-skinned too.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to say? They're not going to say anything.
I mean, it doesn't matter. There's a really good TED Talk. I forget what it's called, but there's a TED Talk, and the presenter, I think something about the title is "Race Doesn't Exist, but It's Very Important," or something like that.
So Tomfoolery 28, you can hop into the guest request, sir. You say anything else without doing that, well, you got to go. Punch Strength says, y'all have a good purpose, and if you don't offer any solutions, then it's just complaining.
How long have you been here? Because he's been talking about solutions for months.
Yeah.
Months.
What are you talking about?
Months and months and months.
Everyone hates on cops until they need them.
We don't need cops to protect us. We live in an open carry state.
And also, if you knew my
we have weaponry.
And also, if you knew my backstory, you would never say that. You realize that would probably not go over so well.
No.
Definitely not Mexican. Sorry, girl. Well, tell you what. You're definitely not in this chat anymore.
I don't care who wants to deny my Mexicanness. Peace. Okay? Peace and love. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. I don't need nobody to validate what I know about myself and my genealogy and my ancestry, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. I got better stuff to do on a Sunday. Apparently you don't, but sorry.
Yeah, see. Who will enforce laws?
The people will.
The people will.
The people. Yeah.
People are the enemy of the people. Ponder on that. That
doesn't make sense. Can you elaborate?
Can you elaborate? That doesn't make any sense.
It sounds like something that could be good, but
apparently you don't either. What?
You know what? Let them talk.
Okay. I'm just curious at this point, like what's the counter argument? Because every time they
thank you, Classy Baskets. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Let's see. How do people enforce laws? That is the most. Wait, hold on, wait.
Well, okay, no,
go ahead. You take it.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Daddy.
Just
kicked my dog in the face accidentally. How do people enforce laws? If you see something, say something. Don't let the bystander effect take over you. You know, the bystander effect is... Imagine making a controversial live and then banning people with opposing views. No, we're banning people who are being disrespectful and just, you know, not contributing. But okay, bystander effect is a problem. So if you see something, say something. You don't necessarily have to get involved. I mean, if somebody's like carjacking somebody at gunpoint, like, you know, please don't get involved and get yourself shot, obviously. But if there's other people around and if there's, you know, groups of citizenry who are patrolling the area, it's going to get handled. Do you want to go back to the Wild West, just street justice and anarchy? Well, the Wild West wasn't true anarchy. There was a system.
Yeah.
There was a system. There was a hierarchy. You know, there were definitely the renegades who would try to come into town and wreak havoc, but you always had your local posse who would handle stuff.
Because that's
and get stuff done. They had police, you know, they probably had police who were a lot more worth their salt than the cops are these days.
Fuck yeah. Because back in the Wild West,
I'll take the Wild West sheriffs any day over today's police.
Back in the Wild West, those sheriffs had to be the best guy. He had to be the freaking best shot.
That's right.
He had to be the best guy.
That's right. And somebody said, your local pizza hot. Police do nothing but escalate things. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, they do nothing but escalate things or commit fraud, treason, theft.
Don't say bad words.
Murder.
Don't.
No?
Yeah, leave that one alone.
Okay. Well, I mean, they off people.
Yeah, they
and
do.
Get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sheriffs and marshals, exactly. And back in those days, I mean, I wasn't there, obviously. I think I was in a past life, but I feel like they lived by a certain code, you know, and it was a code that one could respect. And nowadays, just nobody has a code, cops. Well, they got that thin blue line code that they certainly abide by. But whenever you have somebody who dares to challenge the system and change the system from within, right? They get pushed out. They get targeted, harassed, assaulted, bullied. I mean, you know, brake lines cut in their cars, bombs on their porch, stuff like that. You know, there was a cop who was bullied and assaulted while on the job. I don't remember the details of it, but I think it was in Oakland.
Yeah.
And he was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And when he filed a grievance against the police department about it, you wouldn't believe what happened to him. I mean, I think they went out of their way to run him over one day when he was walking to his car or something. I don't know. It's just like stuff from like Law and Order SVU or something. Like you can't even make it up. It's real life. It happened. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and he was wronged. He was, the other guys did him wrong. And like, oh, they're calling him a rat and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God. First of all, First of all, I don't believe in the whole rat thing. If you do me wrong, I'm going to squeal like a pig. You know? I'm going to sing like a canary because I want you to face the consequences of your actions. You want to play, you got to pay. And if you're going to wrong me in such a way that, it's serious enough that I feel that there need to be, legal consequences or whatever, or at least going to my supervisor and, filing a grievance. I'm sorry, how does that make me a rat? How about, why aren't we focusing on the original aggressor? Why aren't we focusing on the original person who messed up, who was wrong, and went out of their way to attack this person? It's like, I don't get it.
It's a very, very weird dynamic.
It is.
It's a weird dynamic. And it only really happens to certain people. There's some people who get so many excuses made for them, but then some people will go out of their way trying to blame you for everything. It's fucking crazy. I've seen it before. It's a weird kind of shark, like almost a social shark feeding frenzy type of mentality.
Somebody said she just went from revolutionary to Karen. Punch drunk. Hey, guess what? I don't care.
What do you mean?
You don't. I don't. If you're trying to get a reaction out of me, it's not going to work.
Wait. Just because I'm with someone doesn't make them a revolutionary. I'm the revolutionary. You see how she dressed, right? You see how I'm dressed? We're two different people. Imagine for a second someone marrying Michael Jordan and be like, "Well, now you gotta help me get to the NBA Finals."
Right?
She's not required to participate in the same thing that I do.
Yeah, not required, but I already had these beliefs and viewpoints before I met him. So,
both of you are confused. Alley Cat, tell you what. If you think I'm confused, why would you sit here and watch a confused person? That makes you even more confused?
That kind of sounds like the definition of insanity, but all right.
Let's see here.
Exactly. Classy baskets. If someone,
See
but
here.
when you're a cop, that makes you a rat. They call the IAB the rat squad, really? So you guys think you're infallible and you're above the law and you can do whatever you want and not face consequences for it? I'm sorry. That's delusions of grandeur and, borderline megalomaniac. I don't want people who are megalomaniacs to be cops.
I'm sorry about that. You can see my boogers. Let me see. Nah, you can't see my boogers. My nostrils way too black, yo. I'm way too dark. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh yeah, I am kind of dressed, kind of like crazy in it. Yeah, my little frog suit. Sorry, I am kind of dressed a little bit crazy though. That's how I usually dress.
He was having a snack, so I just kind of took over the live stream so that he could eat. So for those of you who were like knocking him for stepping out of the camera, he's human too, and he needed to get a bite to eat.
Yeah.
So,
can you tell them about the?
Thank you, JJP Jojo. Said just got here, and after those comments, and I can say you've made sense since I've been here.
Right.
Thank you.
So,
I thought so too.
Can you tell them a little bit more about about me and how difficult it is to be with me? Go ahead. You can go ahead and talk back to me. I want you to talk back about. I want you to talk.
I feel like this is a trap.
I'm gonna walk out the room. I'm gonna allow you to talk as much.
I feel like
I'm gonna walk out the room.
I feel like
I'm gonna walk out the room.
I feel like what I say can and will be used against me in a court of boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, hold on. Why am I saying this?
I'm gonna give you 5 whole minutes now. I'm gonna come back.
Okay. I don't know. We met on one of those dating apps that people meet on these days. Of course it is, right? I know. The court of relationships. Seriously. I'm scared. But you guys are my witnesses, okay? We are both pagan. So, and I've never really been able to meet a pagan man who I vibed with so well. on that level. And we both don't trust the government, you know. Thank you, Judge DC. We have a lot of the same viewpoints on politics, on social justice, on education, and, you know, how we would run the country if we were president. You know, his version and my version pretty much overlap, you know, like if I had to run things. But we really connected, and we also have a lot of we both have PTSD. I have complex PTSD. He has multiple levels of PTSD from multiple times in his life. One of the most obvious being from when he was in combat overseas. Depression and anxiety, just the daily struggle, you know, living in today's crazy world. So we bonded a lot over that stuff. And then, and he's funny as hell. He makes me laugh all the time. I'm talking mostly compliments and not saying how difficult it is to be with him. It's not difficult on a, you know, the majority is not difficult. If it were, I agree, DCLAC. I agree. All people of color have PTSD in some form. Yes, absolutely. Because of his, you know, paranoia and distrust. Classy baskets. Yes. Thank you. Because of his paranoia and distrust and, you know, mood swings, it gets a little, you know, difficult. A lot difficult at times. We almost broke up like 4 different times. I mean, we were literally in the post-breakup negotiating who gets the apartment type of conversations. We've been there 4 times. We're both hotheads, and I'm a Taurus, so I am a quadruple earth sign, people. I am a Taurus. My Chinese zodiac is a bull, so I'm like a double Taurus, quadruple earth sign. Because my sun, moon, and rising are all earth signs, and then my Chinese zodiac is female earth, so quadruple. BL Quietude 2020, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I try to share my experiences and be vulnerable so that other people can feel like they can share their experiences and be vulnerable, because the only way we're all gonna bond and work together is if we know what's going on with each other, you know, and that comes from talking. So yeah, it's blowout fights, and I can't refuse a good fight. You know, the Taurus in me never wants to back down, so that's a character defect of mine. But okay, and this is Rue, my blind cat. She's very needy. So yeah, it wasn't easy in the beginning, but I feel like we both tried. I feel like we both made efforts, and we both really tried to listen to each other about what the other was saying. And just last night, you know, we got into it, and I told him, I feel like we're speaking different languages. And I was like, can we just speak different languages together? Like, does it always have to end up, you know, with us storming off? And I'm April 30th. We are right there, man. We are right in the middle of it. Stubborn as hell, but loyal, right? So yeah, it's taken a lot of me. Well, and I'm codependent, so that doesn't help, but I also get, you know, all, you know, Haas and Pfeffer in my righteous indignation. So I had to look at myself and realize where I was being, intransigent, and where could I do better? You know, where could I listen? Where could I make efforts to change little things? He's not asking me to change big things, and I'm not asking him to change big things, but the little things that he's talking about, that he's bringing up over and over and over, at some point I got to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know, what are you doing? Because you keep making promises that you're going to work on X, Y, and Z, but then you don't. You just fall back into your comfort zone. So that, you know, a lot of personal growth has been happening since I turned 30. That was a wonderful year. That's when my give a crap fairy died, was when I was 30. But yeah, it's not majority bad. It's just that the rough times, because of our individualized, you know, traumas and background that we both have, it's definitely more, there's a lot more baggage, you know, there's a lot more baggage. But in the words of Mimi Marquez from Rent, I'm looking for baggage that goes with mine. You know, I don't expect anyone to not have baggage in their 30s. That's unrealistic. I'm just looking for baggage that goes with mine. And then we can, you know, can live a good life together. And we're doing it. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Dillon. I did see your question. What do I do for work? I am a court reporter. Matching luggage, yeah. Best movie. I know. I actually saw it on Broadway in New York. Not right when it came out, but I saw, you know, of course, not the original cast, but I saw it on Broadway. I got crazy good tickets for like $40 in the second or third row. It was insane. So good. And yeah, I've seen it twice, actually, in New York. Best Broadway production ever. So, I'm a court reporter. I make really, really, really good money. That's because it's a really, really, really hard job. It's a strong, fine motor skill. It's like piano. Yes. Oh, the live show. It's just, you know, it was designed for the stage. So, you know, there's only so much you can do in a movie when it was designed for the stage, and the, you know, the stage sets and all that. Like, because I've done theater before. I was a theater technician and an actor. How does that feel, Mr. Dillon? Are you talking about a court reporter? Being a court reporter, how does it feel? Because I love my career. I had a really long journey in court reporting school just because life kept getting in the way. But I stuck it out, and now I'm doing it, and I'm doing the damn thing, and I love it. It's so much better than working as a server in a restaurant, you know, which I did since I was 16, which was probably the best pay I could get for the, you know, the most buck for my bang, if you will, in being in a non-licensed type of job, you know. But court reporting is, it's amazing. Anyone who likes coding, I'm gonna put a little, I'm gonna do a little blast for court reporting right now. Okay, I know this isn't what we're here for, but you know, stenography and even voice, stenomask voice writers, they're licensed professionals.
They make a lot of money.
Anything that's going to litigation is important, and you do not want to rely on some audio electronic recording device for your official record of what happened. And that's where the human element comes in, because human stenographers, you know, stenography is basically coded coding entries. And we do it live in the moment. You know, if you guys have ever seen broadcast captioning for shows and sports events and stuff, that is a human stenographer, a captioner, broadcast captioner, writing everything live as it happens in real time. I could never be a broadcast captioner. I'm not that good. But I tip my hat to broadcast captioners.
How fast can you
amazing. Type? I'm certified at 200.
She types 200 words a minute, y'all.
Yeah. It's not typing, though, because it's not the QWERTY keyboard. It's a different keyboard.
But that's still crazy, though.
Yeah, but it's corded entry. So when you think about
her
piano...
fingers are like lightning fast, dude. It's crazy.
When you think about piano and how you hit multiple keys at the same time, it's the same concept on the steno machine. And that's how you're able to keep up with super fast speakers. But then when people start getting out of control and interrupting each other and chaos ensues, it's happened in depositions before already. It's our job to stop everyone and remind them that, I need everyone to speak one at a time. And, this is for the record. I'm taking down the record. Everyone in that room or in those proceedings wants the best record they can possibly have. Because somebody is taking somebody else to court for whatever reason. And it's not always, stupid things related to like money or whatever. I'm pretty judgy in that regard, but ever since I thought a lot of litigation was just BS. But actually lately it's
I'm gonna put my camera
Okay.
real quick. I'm gonna go show you guys our doggos. So everyone's been asking about doggos. This is Zoe. She's 10 years old. She's an old doggo. And that's Zoe right there. This is my girl. This is Aphrodite.
Well, she's our girl, but yeah.
Well, she thinks that I'm her girl. So
Yeah.
she's my American bully. But anyways, back to you. Here you go.
Yeah, a lot of it. Oh, sorry, Daddy. A lot of it can be like, do you have to have a broad vocabulary for that job? You don't have to. It's you learn how to write sounds. Because what we do is we write sounds if we come across something like a name, for example, that we've never heard before. We have to write it down. So we write sounds phonetically on the steno machine, and that's how we can capture the record. But there's ways that you can write a whole sentence in one stroke of the keys. It's called a stroke when you hit, like a chorded entry. So, for example, if you want to write ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's a very common brief. It's large, the sound. Because large is not a word in English. So you write large, and then, you have your steno machine connected to your court reporting software, and you have large in your dictionary. So whenever you write that combination of keys, large, it pops out in English on your screen, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It's amazing. So, sorry, I just put a Twix. So, you go to school for it. It's, it's intense, and
but you make a lot of money. I'm not gonna put you on blast, but this chick can make $14,000 in 1 week.
It was an arbitration. It went all week, all day, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Almost killed me because my hands and my forearms were just on fire every day. But that's why God invented massages, I guess.
$14,000 in 1 week, y'all. Listen.
That's not the norm, but
that doesn't have to be the norm. That's 1 week of work. You pretty much done at that point. Yeah, you only need that like twice.
Yeah. And I want to say my average lately, like a slow. January was kind of slow because of being right after the holidays and all that, and because people kept getting sick from COVID. So, yeah, I smoke hemp. I smoke CBD. It's CBD.
Yeah, I know, but TikTok is weird about that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's completely legal. Okay. But yeah, I like CBD for my joints too. Yoga, stretching, heat, jacuzzi type of things, massage, chiropractor. So yeah, the January was a slow month. I still cleared $7,000.
Yeah.
That just gives you an idea. Like, I haven't made less than that consistently since I started working. But I know how to hustle. So I'll double up on some days. I'll take short depositions, but I'll double up. So I'll do a short dep in the morning and a short one in the afternoon. Because why not? I love being on my steno machine. It's my happy place. And I love what I do. And I've had jobs before that I hated, so having a job that I absolutely love and it doesn't feel like work is amazing. Mojo Jojo said, nice, you gonna take us out to Disneyland with your kids now?
Yeah, listen.
Absolutely. Let's
Listen.
go. Let's do it at
Let me tell you
Disneyland,
something.
Knott's Berry Farm.
Listen, men. What we need to be doing, men. We need to be finding women, right, who have money and who make money. This is how we as men can come up, all right? I want this for you too, all right? I want this for you too. All right, all these people out here talking about some she freaking white. Look here, I'm happy. You don't want this for me? She make more money than me, all right? I want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? I want to be happy. If a chick can make $14,000 in 1 week, I don't care if she's green. Okay.
Polka dot.
You mean tell me, boss, I'm gonna live the dream, boss? You mean tell me I'm gonna live the dream, boss?
Pink and purple polka dots.
Listen,
right?
Listen. There ain't a man in their right mind who ain't taking this deal. Listen. You mean tell me you gonna pay the bills? You gonna pay, boss? You know what? You the boss. You know what? This is your house. This is your house.
So.
Listen. If a woman is paying your bills, you do not turn down that deal. It don't matter what color she is. Listen. This chick has a credit score that is astronomical. I can get all the stuff from Best Buy if I want. I can walk in Best Buy. I'd be like, I can get everything, boss. You can get everything. Oh my goodness, boss. I can get all the stuff from Best Buy. I can get the PS. I can get the PS7, the PS8, PS9. Okay. I can get the PS12 when it comes out, baby.
And why does this work for us so well? Because he is the cook of the house. He is primarily the one who takes care of the dogs. Mm-hmm. Absolute majority of the time. I'm not even going to try to lie about that one.
And she made that bacon, baby. I tell you what. That's my boo right there. Damn, nobody say that's my boo. That's my boo.
He cleans, he tidies, he does the laundry. He does his own laundry, ladies. It's wonderful. He puts gas in the car. He runs errands, picks up the groceries because he's retired. So, he pulls his weight absolutely at home. But also when I was still in school, we got together like 3 months before I got licensed. It was probably the worst time in my life to start a new relationship. Absolute worst. Absolutely. And I already told them that we almost broke up 4 different times. Yeah. We were in the negotiation conversation of who's going to get the apartment and who's going to move out. Right. We were there 4 different times. Yeah. It hasn't been an easy road. Yeah. But I think with each argument, we both learned how to fight better. Right. We learned how to negotiate. I learned
a lot about myself. Me too. Fellas, we can't be so proud that we can't come back and apologize when we're wrong. Men, we have this thing about us where we have this prideful thing. And we have to, mature beyond that, man. Because if you want to be happy and if you want to live with somebody, you will have to actually change yourself,
Living with somebody is hard work.
It's tough. It is.
Oh my God.
It's tough.
It is a full-time
because
job.
she has quirks that gets on my nerves, and I know I got quirks that gets on her last nerve. I know that. I know because she ain't shy about telling me.
Hey now, you make me sound rude.
Oh, you can be sometimes. I love you though.
Yeah, I love you though. I can.
I know you can be sometimes.
I'm frank. I'm brusque, maybe a little too abrupt with it, but right. I mince no words.
Right. But the thing about it is the reason why I brought her on camera is that I want men to kind of take a snapshot, right? There are times where you're going to have problems in your relationship. There are times you're going to have disagreements. There are times where people are going to look on the outside and think that you shouldn't even be together. Mm-hmm. But you can't let that affect you, man. Mm-mm. All right. Listen, I was...
Are you going to live your best life, or are you going to live according to other people's ideas of what's best for you?
Right. I was married to a black woman. I was married to a black woman in South Carolina. And I have no problems with black women. I love black women. Black women are y'all are the G's, man. Just that she happened to run into me first. That's literally it. When I came to Washington State has a very, very low black population. I think it's like 97% white, some crazy, like it's a very white state.
Well, and there's a lot of pagans up here, and I told them that, we bonded over that.
Right. There's not a whole lot of...
It was the spirituality aspect at first that really like, Right. And then we got to talking, and then, the politics and the social justice and, education and philosophical topics and stuff like that. It's just, we could have those deep conversations, which is essential for me.
And so I do have a black son. He's in South Carolina. And so I feel like I've given the black community a black son. I feel my duty. I don't see why I have to keep doing that. I feel like I've been told to date within my race my entire life, and I feel like honestly that's really only my choice. It's only really my choice. The same way that same argument that I make for women and their bodies. It's your choice. Like I don't think anyone can make that choice for you.
And the same needs to apply to men. We can't be all double standard on that.
Right. But the thing is though, you're the one who you're the one that's got to wake up next to that person.
Yeah. Make sure you like them.
Make sure you like them, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Make sure you like them. But the other thing I thought was interesting about our relationship. So how do you think how is the dynamic when you see me make content and you see it like negatively affect me? Like can you kind of explain to people like what's that process is?
What do you mean?
Like when I keep making content and like the content eventually gets to me and it's like what do you do in like that particular scenario and what do you notice? Because I could explain it, but you could probably explain it a whole lot better because coming from me, it'll sound like I'm trying to praise myself,
Yeah. You're a lovey. You have the biggest heart I've ever seen. And and you're putting yourself out there with your face. You're not hiding behind some username or whatever. And you're putting yourself out there in the public eye to talk about things that affect you either directly or indirectly, because everything affects us indirectly. But when people just double down in their evil and hatred, it's it gets to them, and it gets to me because I see it and I hear the comments, and I'm just like, well, then there's trolls who just want to be trolls for the sake of being trolls. But yeah, white racism is the evil, not white skin. Yeah, then there's also go a level deeper, and you have the racism within groups of people of color.
Yeah, that's the rough one.
I'm like, but y'all getting discriminated too. Why don't you? What? Yeah. But I think I understand the reasoning behind it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it because I'm an empath. So it's like when you're crabs in a bucket and you're trying to not sink lower, you keep pushing other people down so that at least, if you're not raising yourself up, you're not sinking even lower into the depths of misery. I understand that, but I don't agree with it because I think if everyone banded together and worked together, we could all take over the world. But, Pinky and the brain, like, what the heck? But, yeah, that Jamie girl, I don't either, but it's whatever.
Trying to find taste. So hello, I have a question. What's your question? Go and ask.
So yeah, it takes a toll on him. He does, he pumps out content so much every day, and then he'll just wear himself out. He'll just go balls to the wall like Wile E. Coyote. But, we all know what happens every time Wile E. Coyote straps himself to an Acme rocket. He runs into the side of the cliff, splat. So,
Pacing myself has been a problem.
yeah. And me too. I mean, I'm a workaholic. I get it. You know, he will tell you he's not happy when I'm doing the workaholic thing.
So someone asks, have you ever met Jesus or God? No, I have not. Have you?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
No, not personally.
Not personally,
no. Never had the pleasure.
Right. I think Jesus will be a great person, though. I mean, he sounds like a pretty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool.
No, I'm
cool
a
guy.
huge fan.
Yeah,
huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the trolls, you know, the naysayers, the people who just want to dig in their heels and not disrupt the status quo. I understand why people don't want to disrupt the status quo, but I care too much, and he cares too much for the people who are being harmed by the status quo to just continue on and not say anything. You know, if you see something, say something. Like, there are like, you know how when you're a public school teacher or a counselor or whatever, and you're a mandated reporter to the state if you suspect child abuse or neglect or anything like that, you know, the fact that certain people are designated as mandated reporters and that everyone doesn't take that on themselves to report child abuse or neglect or something like that is mind-boggling. Like, I'm not a mandated reporter, but I'm going to go to the front page of the news, you know, or something. If I suspect something, you know, I'm going to go down to the county. I'm going to be like, what's going on? You know, let's open a case, you know? So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get that one. But I think a lot of people lack empathy, and then it's a huge burden on those of us who do have empathy. But I've often tried to vocalize issues in my life and many times been laughed out the door. Yeah, it's not. And I think it's because they're so uncomfortable with the content that they don't even know what to do. And so they have to put you down and make you look like a freak or whatever, you know, or crazy for bringing up the topic because they have no idea. They have no idea how to deal with it. And like, that's okay. I don't know how to deal with lots of situations, but like, can we all help each other out to inform ourselves, to educate ourselves? Can we all help each other out to, you know, level up? You know, so that we can talk about these kinds of things and that no topics are taboo. Because, I mean, you're not going to be able to process anything that happens to you if you can't talk about it, you know? And I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people have narcissistic tendencies. Yeah, I agree. And some, you know, a lot of empaths are created from narcissistic abuse. It's a crazy dynamic. Yeah, I mean, I know that we're not going to be able to get everyone in the world to care and level up. Yeah, I'm not trying to get everyone to care, but I think the people who already do care, you know, the people who have good hearts, which is a lot of people, it's most people, you know, I think they're just scared, you know, to disrupt the status quo because it's going to disrupt their lives and where they are. And it's like, yeah, it's going to, but that's the point, because the world could be better for everyone involved. Or if we don't want to go global, let's just talk about our country. You know, our country could be better for everyone involved. Yeah, they do. And again, I'm not, you know, I have empathy. I'm not gonna criticize someone for fearing confrontation. Absolutely not. But You know, the desire, or I guess the fear to stay stagnant has to overpower the fear of change and the fear of disrupting the status quo. That's where we have to get. And a lot of thank you. A lot of people, are so paralyzed in their fear of the unknown. You too, Jamie. Have a great day. Either they're paralyzed in their fear or they are complacent in their apathy. Those are the people that we might not ever get to, change the way they feel about things. But as long as the majority of the people care, I think that's where the power lies. It's with the people. And I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to figure this out just like everyone else, I'm just another bozo on the bus trying to figure life out in this insane COVID-riddled world. People flat out lie and pretend a heinous thing didn't happen when it has. Yeah. I've seen that a lot with oh, thank you. Thank you, Mojo Jojo. I've seen, what was I going to say? I totally lost my farewell to a thought. Oh, when people pretend a heinous thing didn't happen, I see it a lot in instances of child abuse and, stuff like that. Family law cases. Let's just call it family law cases. I think there are some topics, there are some events, there are some traumatic situations that are so egregious that people don't know what to do. They don't know how to react. I don't think any one of us have ever attended a seminar on what to do if your child or your family member has been, a victim of, that. It's not something that we're ever prepared for. And I think that's harming us because then people are crippled into inaction because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to react. Should I say something? Should I not say something? And it's like, I'm just fearless most of the time. I'm just like, I'll say whatever, IDGAF, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to let my freak flag fly so that all the other freaks can find me, Yep.
But guys, we're going to have to end the stream there. Actually, and here's why. Because we have to go out and get some to eat.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay. Thank you all for joining me.
I have ADHD, I will go down the rabbit hole.
I let her on because I want to give her a chance to show you guys that that there's somebody standing behind me and behind all the channels. There's somebody standing behind me. Without her, it wouldn't be possible. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Horns up. Peace out. Good night and good luck.